Back.
I'm semi-back.
She's semi-back, the two-eyed bandit on this
Yes.
on this St. Patrick's Day edition of Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini,
I'm Gini.
obviously.
And these are my beetle glasses. This is what I have to wear in the sun and in bright light. So I know a lot of you have been asking for me to talk about the surgery. I will sometime, maybe next week or the following week. I'm going to have Chris read the questions, but we're going to go live. And then I'll answer all your questions on my procedure and how everything went. But tonight, we're going to be talking about the new way to file COVID claims. COVID claims, you have to be filing them on a CA2 now. So that's number one. And number two, we're going to talk and get in detail with limited duty?
Yeah.
Limited duty. And Chris has done all his research to answer all those questions. But before we begin, go ahead and click that follow button and that share button and that subscribe button. And we're going to sorry, I'm just so out of it still. We're going to get started.
She's out of practice. She had 2 weeks of vacation and then 2 weeks of eye surgery.
Yeah. So let's get people on. Let's get going. Remember, you can find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, all of our Facebook pages. You can find us on Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok. You guys look cute. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you. And I can actually see. I can actually see to read it. I don't have to do it with my phone, except I'm going to have to switch it so I can share. So what we need you guys to do is share, and share. And, let's get some people on here before we start talking about our two topics. But let's get some housekeeping done. Next week, we will not be on chats. We are actually flying to Austin, Texas, where I get to see Matthew McConaughey.
Probably not, but we will see a bunch of doctors. And there's an opportunity to recruit new doctors and, for the franchise so that you guys have help in other places around the country. Plus, so we're really excited to do that.
And we're learning so much stuff on sales and marketing. We like to get our brains soaked like a sponge and learn everything that we can so we know how to help you guys even better. And what else?
Well, let me say hi to Scott. Scott, my boy is on. Scott, I'd love to have you on in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
I think, right, 2 weeks?
And 2.5 weeks.
Something like that. So you guys are going to be really in for something special when our friend Scott Sear is on. Hi, Tammy. Hello from Federal Injury Centers of Greenville, South Carolina. Wendy, what's up? So our doctors, our offices come on to say hello to you, to hear what you guys are thinking, what you're saying, and probably to listen to me a little bit for learning. It's a good training session. So when you see our doctors on, say hi. If they respond to you, it's because they know what they're talking about.
So I don't know what's going on with Facebook lately. Like I've been sharing all, what's going to happen like I always do. So for some reason, I think because, and I'm not like bragging about this. So I become what do you call it? A public.
Yeah, they call her a public figure now.
Public figure because I have Wednesday night chats and I have like 30 other Facebook pages because each of the federal injury centers of whatever city, I'm an admin on it. I have my Glamourology page. I have my personal Facebook page. So they took my status and just one day they just changed it. So I can't change it back, but it's okay. I'm a public figure, no autographs.
But it changes the way she can share it.
Yeah, so it does change the way I share. So if you guys can share it or tag your people on this. Again, what we're going to talk about the new ways to file COVID, which is CA2s now. CA2s now.
Yeah.
And then we're going to also talk about limited duty. So click that follow and share button.
Hello to Misty Alexis. What's up?
Misty!
Rich Ray. I know that they already spoiled the surprise, but as you know, there's an office coming near you very soon. So we're looking forward to getting up there and actually seeing you again in person. And we got our Charlotte office on, so check them out. I also saw that Dr. Pearson from Kansas City, Missouri is there. So we've got a Kansas City, Missouri office. It's I think the only OWCP clinic in the state of Missouri. So check them out. they're definitely going to be great for everyone, just as is the Dynamic Health in Charlotte. So check them out. All right, so tonight we are not just being clowns. But by the way, okay, look, in case you don't know, St. Patrick's Day is my favorite day of the year.
It is.
I don't think I'm Irish. I might be. I should be.
He has some little reds in his hair and his legs.
My great-grandpa, my grandpa had some red hair. When this thing grows out, it's not all gray. Some of it's red. So maybe I'm Irish, but I don't care because I love St. Patrick's Day, and you should too. I'm a big Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan. I'm sure you all are too. Even the ones that don't know it yet, you are, so it's fine. But this works good for her because she's the clown of the family, but this is my time, so we're gonna do this. But while it looks like we're just here to have a good time,
Judy says she's Irish.
She's Irish. I love it. So while it looks like we're here to just have a good time, we're doing that. But I have some really important stuff I'm going to teach you tonight, and it's not just a Q&A session, although I'll answer your questions at the end. But as she said, I'm going to talk to you about the new rules on how to file COVID claims. Now, I'm saying new. These are new as of January 23rd, I think is what they said. January 27th.
Pay attention, guys. We're going up how COVID claims are being filed now. They're no longer CA1s.
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk to you about that, and then we're gonna talk about this thing because one of the ladies that's on tonight emailed me and had a problem with a limited duty offer. The supervisor was, like I say, they're either dumb or they're playing dumb, and so I decided that I was going to make this a topic and teach you guys the rules. So when you need to have a limited duty assignment, you can school your supervisors on how this thing's supposed to work. I did a lot of research. I called a lifeline, talked to all of our friend Eric Blowers, and
got a lifeline.
Yeah, he's my lifeline. I got an extra law that I didn't think about, so we'll get to that. But first, let's talk about COVID claims. I think we all understand COVID's not going away. The vaccines aren't working like they thought they were. They got new therapeutics, so that's fantastic. So there's treatment for it, but it ain't going anywhere. And so OWCP is constantly kind of changing the way they handle it. In the beginning, what they did is they said under the American Rescue Plan or something like that, it was all CA1s. And that's what I was teaching. I was going to, union conventions and teaching how to file your CA1s on eComp for COVID. And they were essentially saying, well, if you have a positive test or an antibody or a doctor's note that says you had COVID, you're going to be good to go.
Yep.
That hasn't changed.
Didn't know you were Irish. Me too. Dr. Dorfman.
So, anyways, a lot of our docs are on. I'll get back to them, Dr. Cooper, Dr. Dorfman. We'll get back to that in a second. But I wanted to talk about what's happened. So when this first started, all COVID claims were filed by CA1. Well, now anything after January of this year, they have to be filed on CA2s, with one exception, that if you can absolutely prove a single incident in a single shift, where you got it, who you got it from, and all of that, you can still file these as a CA1, and all the CA1 rules will still apply, COP, CA16, etc. But for the most part, unless you can find a specific incident, okay, these are CA2 claims, so they're going to handle them accordingly. You'll go on eComp, you'll fill out your CA2 claim for COVID. They're going to cut out a bunch of the questions that don't matter, that aren't related to catching COVID, so you won't have to fill out everything that you would, say, if you had a chronic back or chronic knee injury and you're filling out a CA2 claim. So these CA2s are going to be much more straightforward. And what they're saying, any claim for which COVID-19 is diagnosed between January 27th of 2020 and of January 2023 will continue to be CA1s. Everything after is CA2, and they'll have to meet those 5 basic elements, okay? So the 5 basic elements are, was the claim filed within the time limits, so within 3 years? Were you an employee of the federal government? Okay, so that's helpful. You have to provide evidence of your diagnosis that establishes they actually experienced the event or employment factors alleged to actually contract COVID. And by the way, all of this is FICA bulletin. And if I sound like I'm all over the place, I'm not. It's just this is kind of new. So I printed this 4-page FICA bulletin out, but you can all look it up if you go to Google and just Google FICA bulletin number 23-02, 23-02, and you can read every bit of this. But I don't need to belabor this point too much. The key is that now all new COVID claims are going to be CA2s unless you can definitively say it happened this day around this person who had COVID, and that's where I contracted it. Outside of that, it's a CA2. But some cool things are still happening, and I highlighted it. Okay, this isn't cool, but I think you need to know. Self-administered COVID test, also called home test or at-home test or over-the-counter test, are insufficient to establish a diagnosis of COVID under the FICA. So now they don't want you to do these home tests that at one point they're like mailing out to everybody. We all got like multiple home tests mailed to us. The only exception to the policy is where the administration of the self-test is monitored by a medical professional and the results are verified through documentation submitted by that doctor. So you can use a home test if the test is administered in front of your doctor. Otherwise, you need to use their test and use their documentation. So that's going to be really important. So just know that all COVID claims can still be covered, but they still require you to go to the doctor, have a positive COVID test, get a nice medical narrative explaining that you had COVID, and file it on a CA2. I will take your questions on this. I think we should go ahead and do that now before I move on to the next topic, which I think is even more important. Does anybody have any questions on how to file COVID claims with the new rules on CA2s? Hit me with those questions. While I'm doing that, let me say that we've got our Thousand Oaks, California office on. So everyone say hello to Southern Cal and say hello to San Antonio. And as I said, Dr. Dorfman was on, hopefully still on, but he's in Melbourne and Titusville, Florida, which are like the east coast of Florida, below Daytona, above Fort Lauderdale.
Did somebody say, is she breathing? Yes, I'm breathing. The lights. So if you guys don't know, I said it earlier, I had surgery on both my eyes. In about 2 weeks or so, we're going to go live because a lot of people want to know what I got done and how it's going. So the bright lights, and these are bright, are really making my eyes burn. And so please bear with me. I'm actually sharing. I'm trying to look. And
you should all be sharing too. This is a really important one. I want to tell you something. This thing I'm about to talk about your limited duty assignments, is a huge thing. It's a massive thing. It's something that we hear problems about all the time. The COVID thing, I just wanted to talk about. If you all come to my website, federalinjurycenters.com, and you click the COVID tab, you're going to get old information from old FICA bulletins where they were saying CA1s and all this. So I'm going to change that. So it's all about CA2s now, but just be aware that you file a CA2 for COVID claims. So any questions? Let's see. Maria said, if you file CA1 for COVID and get it again, then it's CA2. Now, what they're saying, Maria, is that anything after January of this year is a CA2. Any COVID diagnosis from those 3 years previous are following the old rules. Everything new follows the new rules. So anything new, if you get COVID again right now, it's likely a CA2. Unless you can prove definitively that you got COVID, in a single shift, and you know who you got it from.
Oh, I can see.
How about that? So what other questions do we have? You can think about them. Dr. Dorfman said, can't take my eyes off you guys.
I know, right?
I know, so, that's true.
Don't forget, tell your friends. We are talking about how to file new COVID claims, and we are also talking about limited duty in detail. And like Chris said, he called his lifeline, Eric.
Yeah, so it was yesterday. Got an email. And the email was about limited duty. And the person said, and if you'd like to say, hey, it's me, that's fine. But I don't like to call people out. But the person said, because she's watching, the supervisor gave her the limited duty assignment and basically said, all right, you got to check yes now and give it back to me. Where did that come from? So I found the rules. I emailed it over. But you should know I found a new one today to go with it, thanks to our friend Eric Blowers. And so we're going to go through that today. Rich says, always have to file grievances regarding limited duty. That's right. Well, Rich, tonight, what I'm going to do is give you the laws that you can use to file your grievances. These are going to be great. But more than that, these laws, if you communicate them to your supervisors, will prevent them from doing stupid things that cause you to have to do grievances. Now, with that said, man, do I love grievances. And you all that follow us know that that's like my favorite word in OWCP is grievance. And
unlike some.
I love grievances, unlike some, but many of you do. Rich Ray is a master at winning grievances. Many of the union folks that are here are. And so I love that. What I'm going to do is give you some ammunition to fight your grievances. So here we go. You'll want to write these down, and you can always Google the actual laws that I'm going to show you. You can Google these, and it'll come right up. You can read it yourself. But I've got 1, 2, 3 laws, plus I've got something from the procedure manual. So I'm going to start with the procedure manual in Chapter 2, 2-0814. It's called Job Offers and Return to Work. And number 4 says Offers of Employment. It's a small paragraph, so I'm going to read the whole thing, but I'll highlight something. It says, if the EA, which means employing agency, can provide alternative employment to a partially disabled employee who can't perform his or her date of injury position. In other words, you're injured and you can't do your full duty job anymore, but you could work with restrictions. If that's the case, then the agency will make an offer of light duty to the claimant. This may also be identified as limited duty. And this is the highlighted part, and provide a copy to OWCP. Now, remember this. What they're saying is they give you the letter saying, here's your limited duty offer, but they're also required to provide a copy of that letter to OWCP. That's going to come in a minute when I read the laws. That's important. So it doesn't just go to you. It also goes to your claims examiner. And it says a job offer may be solicited by a rehab specialist, rehab counselor, staff nurse, field nurse, claims examiner, or by the claimant, meaning you, the injured person. So what this says is they're going to give you a copy of the letter and they're going to give it to the claims examiner. So that's important because check this law out. So here's the law. You can write it down, and it's called 20 CFR 10.516. 20 CFR 10.516. CFR stands for Code of Federal Regulations, and that is law, okay? And here's what that code says. It says OWCP shall, remember that shall word means absolute, shall advise the employee that it has found the offered work to be suitable and afford the employee 30 days to accept the job or present any reason to counter OWCP's findings of suitability. So the key here is it says you get 30 days to accept the job or present any reason to counter, okay? So any supervisor that says you got to do this right now, or you have 1 day or 2 days or 1 week, you get 30 days to review this. All right, so this goes to the issue that I was dealing with yesterday. They can't just make you do it right now. You get 30 days. Now, remember, a copy also goes to the claims examiner. That's going to come in a second, because I'm going to read this next law. So this one is 20 CFR 10.515. 10.515. Letter C in this says if the employer has advised an employee in writing that specific alternative positions exist, in other words, limited duty assignments. Check this out. The employee shall provide the description and physical requirements of such alternate positions to the attending physician and ask whether and when he or she will be able to perform such duties. So let's tie this whole thing together. Everything I've told you so far, that according to the procedure manual, the agency has got to give a copy of your limited duty offer to OWCP. OWCP is going to give you 30 days to review the offer. And in that 30 days, the employee shall provide that offer to the physician to make sure it works, that it fits within your restrictions on the CA-17. Maria, yes, for any craft. So the cool thing is the Code of Federal Regulations, the United States Code, these are laws that apply to all federal workers, okay? So all federal workers can use this law. It's going to be critically important. Now, some of you are rural carriers, and you're going to say, yeah, what about me? Well, unfortunately for you, too many of rural carriers don't get limited duty offers. The agency will just say, we don't have anything for you, at which point you're going home and getting paid. All right. I don't think that's ideal. I think that's counterproductive on the agency's part. I don't understand it, although I do understand that this is probably related to the contract between the rural carrier union and the agency. Okay. So, but outside of that, these rules apply to everybody. Letter D of 20 CFR 10.515 says that if the employer has advised an employee that it's willing to accommodate his or her work limitations, in other words, they have a limited duty offer for you, then the employee shall so advise the attending physician and ask him or her to specify the limitations imposed by the injury. So they're giving you 30 days to run this past your doctor and make sure it fits within your restrictions get back and say, okay, it does fit my restrictions or it doesn't, and here's what my doctor says about it in this letter the doctor wrote. So that's really important. But check this out, because here's the third rule. It's 5 USC 8106. USC is the United States Code. 5 USC 8106, letter C, where it says a partially disabled employee or someone on limited duty, okay, who refuses to seek suitable work. So you're like, I'm not going to go find anything else. Or, not and, but or, refuses or neglects to work after suitable work is offered to, procured by, or secured for him, parentheses, or her, is not entitled to compensation. In other words, if they offer you a limited duty assignment that is suitable, that is agreed on by your doctor, and you refuse to take it, they will cut off your compensation. So don't do that to yourself. You've got to accept a suitable offer that works within your restrictions. So the next time your doctor writes a CA-17 and your supervisor says, okay, here's a limited duty offer, you got 2 days, 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 weeks, whatever, to approve it, you show them these rules and you say, no, I have 30 days to run this past my doctor. I'll get back with you within 30 days. Those are the rules, and nobody can argue with it. But Rich and the rest of you union presidents, vice presidents, stewards, union reps, use these laws to fight these cases. When you file grievances, you got the law. You can see that they said 2 days and not 30 days. And they're saying, we're going to pull the limited offer if you don't accept it now. And you can take these laws and say, here's what you did wrong, and here's why we're going to win. You're going to win these. These should be slam dunks. So that's what I want you to do. I want you all to not be bullied by your supervisors. I don't want you being pushed around. Management, I always say, they're either dumb or they play dumb. Now, that doesn't apply to a couple of the supervisors that are here that we love, because you're good folks. But unfortunately, the rest of the management world suffers, from dumbness. So let's see, what questions do we have here? Does this include a permanent employee and a temporary limited duty assignment? All right, so just so you know, these rules are only for temporary limited duty assignments. Okay, that's all this is for. She also said, the letter says that this limited duty to remain in effect no later than April 14th, and I have permanent restrictions. Okay, so I read that, and that means in April 14th, get a new CA-17 and force them to give you a new limited duty assignment or to find a permanent position for you. But definitely remember to work with your union. Hopefully you have strong representation there so they can work with you. This is only for limited duty assignments, but everybody has this problem. We hear it all the time. And I can't believe it took me all these years to just say, hey, here's the rules. So there's the rules. Okay. So what questions do we have tonight? I'm going to have to scroll this myself because Miss No Eyes over here can't read these questions.
I got eyes.
Oh, you do. Does a temporary limited duty letter for a permanent employee need to have specific duty description other than within job description? Okay, it's got to be specific. On the CA-17s, the doctor's got to write restrictions on specific things that you're required to do for your job. These limited duty assignments need to make sure that they specify you don't have to do any of the things your doctor said you can't do. Very important. Let's see what else we got up here. I'm having to just scroll backwards, folks. Okay, I think I got all the questions. How would you approach this with the doctor tomorrow for a response? Well, okay, so you take your limited duty offer to the doctor and you say, hey, doc, here's this letter. Here's my CA-17. Do these match? Can I do this job? And if the doctor says yes, then go do it. If the doctor says no, they have to write a letter to the management explaining what parts of that limited duty assignment you can't do.
A lot of you have been saying, and I get these messages all the time, that your union number one, your union refuses to help you. Your union says they don't handle OWCP and call national. If there's any presidents on here like Rich Ray, just go ahead and write what they can do. But if you're not getting through with your district rep, your local, your district rep, your representatives, your NBAs, you have to call national and say something, because unfortunately, when you guys are messaging me, I can't help you.
Yeah.
There's only so much that I could physically and mentally do. And if I tell you that's not something we can do, I'm not trying to push you away. I'm just trying to tell you that that's not something that we handle.
Yeah, well, let me put it a different way. We represent and work with doctors. Your union reps represent you at the agency. There's a line in between there that I just can't cross. I can't go into your agency and tell your supervisors anything.
Right.
So that's why we're so big on you being involved with your union. And if you're not involved with them, you need to be. I think that the union dues are probably a small fraction of what the value you can get from them is.
Yeah.
And some of you are going to say, yeah, but not my union. And I understand that there's bad eggs everywhere, but in our experience, when you've got a strong union, you don't get pushed around. And all I'm doing is giving you some laws, basically some ammunition, right? And Judy, what is the national number? You'll have to go and Google that.
Whatever your craft is.
Yeah. Google, NALC or NRLCA or whatever APW, whatever your union is, and you'll find that.
Yeah, it actually comes up because I'm able to get all the phone numbers. Yeah. So it does work. Let's see what we got here. All right. I'm
a rural carrier doing limited duties on the clerk side. Okay, so that's great. I wish that was more of the standard, but I also understand that the clerks don't like it because that means that somebody's doing their job, right? And they want their job. But I don't have an opinion because I don't take favors one union over another. I just want you to be able to get back to work. Rich said, make sure if you have an issue with OWCP with management, go directly to your branch officers. Yeah, okay, great. Yes. And there's Rich saying NALC.org. That'll get you to the national.
Right.
office.
That's for the letter carriers. There's one for all crafts, AFGE, mail handlers, clerks. What am I missing? Rural carriers. There's a number for all of you. So you can just Google it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, exactly right. So I had 2 topics. It's not even 8:30. I must be really good at teaching this stuff. You guys don't have any questions?
So before we go back into it, I know I've been pushing this on you guys, all you union officials. And if anybody's a steward or whatnot, get the message to them that our schedule is going to get filled and it's almost filling up. Like the month of May, we're like,
it's over.
We're probably home 1 week, but we're going to be busy.
And we already have a couple of things going on in April too.
Yeah. I mean, we have seminars that we attend to recruit doctors. Joe's going to be going to that next month while we're going to Austin. Not next month, next week.
Yeah.
So he's going to go help recruit doctors. Chris and I are going to another seminar, which is going to help us help you a little bit more. And as well as our franchises. Also, so if you want us to come to your convention or your steward training, please email me at Gini@federalinjurycenters.com. We're going to Sacramento. We're going to Colorado for AFGE. Sacramento is APW state convention. Colorado is AFGE mine. And then we have the Florida APW. They're gonna be, I think, in Tampa. I can't remember where. And then I know that Victor is trying to get us to go to Puerto Rico. So we have a lot of stuff coming. So again, if you are any type of union official or a rep, get the message to your union folks because I can only receive an okay if you are a union president, vice president, treasurer, secretary. I can't take requests from stewards or workers.
Right. We need an official invitation.
Yeah.
Because I don't just crash your parties. That's not respectful. So let's make sure I've got an official invite and then I'll do it. But a thing about this, we're doing something different this year than in the past. In the past, I've said, you know what, I'll come to anywhere and I'll teach and whatever. But there's a higher demand. And so this is what we're doing. I will come to your convention if every single person that's in attendance is in my class. I don't want to have a class with just a fraction of the people. I want everybody there because the information is too valuable. It's like you've seen that thing where you have a circle of people and you whisper in the ear and it goes all the way around. That person tells, that person tells, that person
Telephone.
tells, and it comes all the way to here and the story's totally changed.
Right.
I want everyone to hear it coming out of my mouth. All right. So I need everybody there. I need 2 to 3 hours and I'd rather not be put at the very end to where people are just thinking about going home.
Yeah.
All right. It's really important. It's not because I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. It's that what I have to say is very valuable and it can save lives. It can save your financial lives for sure. And so my stipulation these days is everyone's got to be there and it can't be at the end. And I need 2 or 3 hours to effectively teach this thing. So
if you guys are role carriers, we will not get invited.
No,
So I'm just
unfortunately.
letting you know, we will not get invited until things change. We won't be coming to any role carrier conventions.
But if a whole bunch of you want to get together someplace and say, hey, Chris, come on out. If there's like 50 or more of you there, I'll come.
Yeah, so we get invited by AFGE, all the different crafts in AFGE. We get invited by the mail handlers and the clerks, and sometimes NALC. So unfortunately, we can't help the role carriers unless we get an official invite, and it's okay.
Sorry, she keeps getting up because Gizmo is being really, he's digging his way to China tonight. That's the way it goes. All right, so I'm going to answer a couple more questions here. Michelle said, I have an FCE that says sedentary work, and the postmaster says doesn't have sedentary work, not in budget, which to me is crap. Would I still be compensated? So as I understand it, you'll go home, you'll fill out a CA7, you'll choose LWAP, and you will attach a letter saying my supervisor doesn't have work for me, and then you'll get paid. I should say that in order to get paid, your claim has to be accepted. You're not going to be able to get LWAP on an unaccepted case. So all that stuff I said, you got to have an accepted claim. So don't forget how important accepted claims are. We talked about this last week, that you can go anywhere you want to go, but denied claims are like an epidemic, and they still are in spite of our best efforts. So if you want to have a really great shot at just getting accepted and getting paid, getting better, getting back to work, you need to check out federalinjurycenters.com, go to the locations tab, and find an office nearest you. Now, I'm not going to tell you that we have an office everywhere, and I'd like you not to be mad at me because I don't, because we go recruiting for doctors all the time. Our partner Joe does it, and I get 100 no's for everyone that said yes. There's 50 some odd offices we have now. There's over 500 that have said no.
Yeah.
We work our tails off to find doctors for you. And so when there is one in your area, I think it's to your advantage to go to that office and get your claim accepted. And there are so few doctors that do this. I think it's a disservice to you for anybody to tell you not to go to federal injury centers. Like I said last week, disobey that order. Forget that, because this is your life and you need your claim accepted so you can get paid, get better, and get back to work.
Yeah.
I've been very patient with some of the, I'll just say, people that have tried to persuade you against federal injury centers. But I will point you to OSHA's federal work injury and illness statistics from last year. And I'll ask you if you can go and compare it to previous years and see if there's any difference. It's not getting better. And so it's not getting better, and you're getting told to go to these doctors that won't get your claim accepted, that will take your money and will get your case denied. Why are you doing this to yourself? And why are you listening to anybody that tells you to go somewhere else? So just, care about yourself enough to go to federalinjurycenters.com, find the location and the locations tab, and call the office directly.
Yeah, remember, it's your life. If something happens to you and you can't go to work, you're replaceable. Always remember that.
Yeah,
your health isn't.
And you're not replaceable to us.
No.
All right. That's just it's very important to me that you just find one of our offices and get your claim accepted. I told you we got 1,125 claims accepted last year. We are on the hashtag Road to 5,000 this year. My goal is to get 5,000 of your claims approved in a single year. Our doctors are trained and ready to go. They're fired up, and they're just waiting on you to call.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be hurt, but the fact is you are. So what will you do about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to stay at the red light forever, or are you going to run it? Okay. If anybody tells you to stay at the red light, ignore that. Run the damn light and find a doctor. All right. So Maria said we have a state convention coming up in April. Don't know why they won't call you. Yeah, I know. Don't get me started. Oh, wait. We already got me started. Christine, my question is, the doctor that was treating me for my injury for the past year sent me for the FC, would not fill out a CA17 or OWCP 5C. So Workman's Comp sent me to the doctor of their choice for the second opinion, and their doctor filled out my limitations on the OWCP 5C. So once my job offers me something because I do have light duty permanent restrictions, what doctor will I be going to see? You will continue to go see your treating physician, and just not for nothing, but Christine, if that's one of my doctors, please let me know, because we're about to have a talk. That's not okay.
And if you guys happen to call any of the offices and you hear that it's a chiropractic office, we tell them, say Federal Injury Centers of whatever. just make sure you stop and ask before you hang up, because a lot of people are telling me they're calling a chiropractic office when they answer the phone and they hang up. So I'm sorry about that. You can always message me and I can confirm, or go back on our website, click the locations tab, and if it's on there and it is a chiropractic office, you're at the right office.
Okay, so Rich, thank you, Rich, for saying what you said, by the way.
What did you say?
I'm about to read it. So what I just said is you can go anywhere and get your claim denied, but that's not what we do. Care about yourself to go to enough to go to Federal Injury Center is going to accept a claim. So Rich, the NALC president in Staten Island, New York, said, Chris, good news so far with the Manhattan office. Manhattan office is one of my Federal Injury Center's locations. We've got 62 cases, and 60 of those 62 cases are currently approved, and the other 2 are pending.
Sweet.
Now, I'm telling you, the other 2 are going to get approved. So 62 out of 62 are going to be approved. Now, I'm going to ask you, if you're going someplace else, what is your doctor's approval rate? Okay? At what rate do your doctors get OWCP claims approved? Because my gut feeling is it's not nearly 100%.
Right.
I'd be shocked if it's 20%. So anybody that's getting told don't go to Federal Injury Centers, what they're saying is don't go to that place that gets 100% of claims approved. Don't do that. Thank you, Rich, for saying that. I really appreciate you saying it. It's one thing for me to tout our numbers, but it's nice to hear Rich, because Rich is in there. He's right down in it and in the fight. Bama, would you be paid at the rate of date of accident or at the current rate of pay? So you're paid at your pre-injury rate until you're back to work for a period of time, which I believe is 6 months full duty. But get with your union on that to make sure there's not some rule or some thing in your union contract that makes what I said wrong. Am I required to try the temporary limited position for any amount of time? You're required to try the temporary limited position if your doctor says that that's within your restrictions. If you don't, remember, according to that United States code I read, they can cut off your compensation. So yes, if your doctor says this works within your restrictions, you must do it or they will cut you off. And I don't want that to happen to anyone. Imagine you go through all this trouble, you get your claim approved, you start to get paid, and then they cut you off.
Yeah.
Man, it's just, don't let that happen, please. Oh, Christine, thank you. No, it's not one of my doctors, but since he would not fill out my paperwork to start with, I doubt that he's going to want to give me any advice on the restrictions. So can I get a different doctor to do that? Absolutely, yes. Request a change of treating physician. Send that request to your claims examiner in writing and tell them your reason is your doctor refuses to play ball. He refuses to fill out forms, refuses to do what an OWCP doctor has to do. I need a doctor who won't refuse. They will approve that.
Yeah.
Tammy says, wait till they hear Scott's story. They may change their minds. Yeah, I think so too. Because until we met you guys, we were lost and frustrated. But look, now we won. That's right. Scott's case was like 8 years old, and we won because we never give up. But I don't want to go too far into it because I want Scott to tell a story.
So we've been talking about 2 things. If you guys have your questions, tag your friends, tell your friends. We're talking about how COVID now, our CA2 claims, not CA1s anymore, CA2, you still file it on e-com. And then we are talking about limited duty. I know there was a few of you that messaged and said it's going to be a great topic. So please share this because we get questions about limited duty all the time, and we know you guys get confused with this.
Yeah, and I just gave you the keys to unlocking all the problems you're having with limited duty assignments. So I think what I'll do is go and post these particular laws.
Yeah, we'll post it on.
I'll post the codes and the United States Code, the Code of Federal Regulations, so you can go Google it and see it for yourself. But I did read it word for word from the law. Can you talk a little bit about second opinion doctor and how to address them possibly trying to release you back to full duty when you have permanent restrictions? Okay, first of all, that's what they're going to do. So when you go in, you need to make sure that they have stuff to review. So I recommend that you get a narrative from your doctor, an updated CA-17 and an updated CA-20, and take that to that second opinion doctor. Don't give it to the receptionist when you show up. If they say, hey, do you have any documentation? Say, no. You can be holding the papers just like this. You can say, nope, I don't have anything for you. Hang on to this. I want you to put it in the doctor's hand. Say, hey, doc, I wanted to make sure you saw this. I just saw another person today who said their doctor spent 5 minutes with them, didn't look at him, didn't touch him, and gave him a bad answer. That's not okay. So we want to give them things to review that are important. And then I want you to take a mental note of everything that happened As soon as you leave the office, I want you to write it all down. You know, I arrived at this time. I left at this time. The doctor was in for this much time. He looked at me or didn't look at me. You know, he or she, the doctor, did range of motion or didn't touch me. I want you to put all that down. Or they didn't appear to review documentation. I handed them documentation and he refused to read it or did read it, whatever. But I want you to document that in a letter to yourself, basically, or a letter to your treating physician. And then have your treating physician write a letter to the claims examiner saying, hey, what are we doing here? And here's the current status. This is the CA20, CA17. Here's the letter I gave the doctor. And I believe that, you know, the prognosis is as follows and whatever, okay? But the point I'm making is you take everything that happened back to your doctor and have them write a letter to your claims examiner. Okay, that's really important. Federal Injury Centers of Roscoe, Illinois. Hello, thank you for being here. So that's right there in northern Illinois on the border with Wisconsin. So check them out.
Hey, Sonia.
What's up, Sonia? Darlene said, my doctor is Dr. Cameraman in Dunedin, Florida. I went to that office after my doctor retired. Unfortunately, I requested a change of doctors and was denied because my doctor is an orthopedic doctor. Any suggestions? Okay, I know that doctor, and in this moment, I'm not allowed to really say anything. Cameraman, that is. So I'm going to withhold my answer on Dr. Cameraman. But to change treating doctors, you have to have a good reason, and you have to write a letter to your claims examiner giving them that good reason why you want to change. You need a doctor who will do the job for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'd say about that. If you need more information on that, send us a private message on Facebook, and somebody will get with you and help you with that letter.
Also, if you go to breakingowcp.com, there's a forms tab there that Chris also put. If you go there, there is a form of a sample letter.
Yeah.
How to write about change of treating doctor. So if you go again to breakingowcp.com, there's a bunch of free forms. It shows you how to do things and how to fill things out. So if you're looking to have a change of treating doctor, go over there and grab the form so you can take a look at how to write your own letter.
That's right. Now, be sure you don't use that form because it looks like a check sheet. You can just check things off. Do not send that in to the claims examiner.
Right.
They'll deny it. You use that because people don't know how to write these letters. And so it's a guide to how to write a letter.
Yeah.
Darlene said, I want to go to your Palm Harbor office. Okay, no problem. The cool thing is it's like one major intersection away from the office you're talking about, so it's not far. We will definitely be happy to help you, of course, okay? So don't hesitate to give them a call tomorrow. They'll be glad to help you.
Yeah. Dr. Chris is there.
Yeah, and they have Max, the PA.
He's awesome.
Their medical doctor's name slips my mind, but they've got a multidisciplinary team that is really, really great at getting cases accepted, filling out the forms you need, helping you get paid and those things. I mean, all of our doctors do.
After 14 days, Dr. Shockey and Clark got her claim approved.
Wow,
oh
Mamie.
Gosh,
so yeah,
awesome.
and so an approval in 14 days, that's awesome. Okay, I've seen it take months, but when we're able to get it done that fast, that's really good for people's lives.
Yes, the Edison office is open.
Yep. Yeah, so if you're in Jersey, give them a holler.
Yeah, even if you're in Newark, and all you TSA people, that's the office to go to. And you either have Manhattan or Edison. And I know Edison is more of a suburb. I used to live in South Plainfield. So it's not that bad of a drive. Anywhere you go between New York and Jersey, you're going to have a long drive.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So just to recap, I talked to you about your COVID claims. Unfortunately, COVID's not going away. OWCP continues to fine tune how they do the process. So now they're CA2. You have to fill out using eComp. So do that. Be sure you get a test, not a home test, and that your doctor writes a great narrative explaining that you have COVID. If anybody needs help with that, I'd be glad to help because a lot of doctors don't know how to write COVID narratives. We do.
Oh, and while he's talking about narratives, there's been a handful of you that have been messaging me, asking me for codes. That the doctor that you're going to doesn't know how to write a surgery letter or to get that approved. Unfortunately, I cannot give you the codes. And I know a lot of you have been very, very upset. I can't give you the codes. I'm not the doctor. The doctor has to put the correct codes. Chris always talks about that.
Yeah, that's right. And we're not doctors. We can't tell doctors where to go to the bathroom. So you'll have to communicate with them. But if you want some advice, just send us a private message. We'll do the best we can to help you.
Yeah.
What to do if your approved doctor under your claim is retiring? How to get another doctor approved? Well, that's cool, because if your doctor's retiring, your letter to the claims examiner requesting a change says, I'm changing because my doctor's retiring and I'd like to go to the following doctor. And they're going to say yes, because they have to. They have to let you have a doctor.
Yeah.
So that's easy. Going back to having your doctor write a letter to the claims examiner, what should the letter contain? So we're, again, talking about the second opinion visit and what your doctor does in response to it. Their letter should just contain everything you said that happened in the visit, and then a recap of your status and what's going on with your claim, and what your doctor believes is going on with you right now. That needs to go in. The weight of the medical evidence will be how the claims examiner makes a decision. So your doctor needs to write great reports explaining what's going on with you. So there's Dr. Cox from Charlotte, the Charlotte Federal Injury Centers. Dixie has added to her team, and he's here to help with claim questions and follow up with all the great advice for Federal Injury Centers patients in the Carolinas. Yeah, so his office has gotten so large and helped so many people and got so many claims approved. He's having to hire more staff. So we're really excited for Dr. Cox in the Charlotte office, because they're really doing really great, beautiful things for federal workers in the Carolinas. So Dr. Cox, thanks for being here. And if you're in the Carolinas, give him a call.
Yeah. I'm going to go over just some housekeeping until we get some more questions come through. Remember, we talked about you need to file a CA2 now for COVID claims and limited duty. If you missed the beginning and you need to go back, you'll just watch the replay. So next week, we won't be on chats. We will actually be flying to Austin to find Matthew McConaughey.
No, to meet new doctors and learn some new things that will help our doctors help you.
We're going for a sales and marketing seminar, while Joe the same weekend will be in Dallas and recruiting more doctors. So we're excited. We had a nice time off since November to now, and we're ready to get back in. And again, union reps, contact me, email me if you want us to come to your convention. And for those of you that don't allow us to come to your convention, well, if you guys want to get together, it has to be at least 25 or more people, because we're paying out of our pocket to come see you. So we're happy to come do it. When we do come to the convention, we bring free books, we give away bags, pens, whatever we have, we give it away.
But it doesn't cost you anything.
And it doesn't cost you anything.
Those conventions are generally, I think, paid for by your dues or by the vendors, whatever. Yeah. We pay our own way, so we don't cost you anything. We're there, we show up, we teach, we give you information that, frankly, you're just not going to get from anybody else. Your best OWCP reps aren't teaching it the way I am. That's the bottom line. They're valuable and needed, and I love them. Yeah. And they should love me too.
And at the end of the day, at the end of his training, we email you the PowerPoint for free. We just email it to you. That way you have it. So look at your calendars, talk to your reps, and let us get that done. Don't forget, we're going to be in Sacramento, California for the APW State Convention. We're going to be in Colorado. I can't remember where in Colorado.
Just outside of Denver.
Yeah, outside of Denver for AFGE's coal and mine training. And then we are going to be somewhere in Florida. I can't remember where, for Florida's APW State Convention. They invite us every year, and we love going.
All right, I got some more questions. First of all, I got Nina from our McKinney Bedford Dallas office. That's North Texas. So Nina, thanks for being on. They are doing a great job getting claims accepted in North Texas. So if you're over there, because I'm from the Dallas area, I can tell you from experience, there are a lot of doctors that claim to be OWCP specialists, but there are very few doctors that can claim legitimately to get 100% of claims approved. So just know that. Sonia, if your approved doctor requesting that you seek a specialist for treatment, such as a chiropractor to treat your injury, and be added under your approved claim, I'm not sure what you just did there.
It's right there.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the question is, but if your doctor asks you to, writes a referral someplace else, referrals are honored, so you're going to be good there. If a doctor finds limited duty unsuitable, what documents do I submit? Well, your doctor's got to write a letter explaining in detail what part of the limited duty offer is unsuitable.
Yeah.
And they have to follow your doctor's orders. Let's see. CA-17, and do they need to write a letter for that too? No, on the CA-17, they just need to fill out the CA-17. It helps to write what we call a disability narrative, so I'll change it from no to yes. The disability narrative explains the medical rationale for why they restricted your duties or took you off of work. How do you get a second opinion report? Well, the second opinion report is going to be in your case file. So once the doctor uploads it, you should be able to find it in your case file on eComp, Judy. My original claim was filed as a CA2 for lower back, knees, and feet, and it was only accepted for lower back. I've been out for 2 years. Can I file another CA2 for occupational disease for my knees and feet? Okay, what I'd rather you do is file a diagnosis expansion and have them try to get those other ones added again. If that doesn't work, then there is an option where you can file another claim. Let's see.
Sonia.
Is there another form to get that requested doctor to fill out? LOL. No, there's not. Sorry. They got to write a letter. Gilberto Soto. Greetings. I'm from Puerto Rico.
Hello.
And I'm a federal worker. Hello, Puerto Rico. I just received my test that I have severe carpal tunnel in my right hand and moderate in my left hand. Here in Puerto Rico, there's almost no doctors we know that are OWCP trained, but I have a claim accepted for my right hand sprain, but the results show that my pain is from carpal tunnel. What do you recommend? You need to get a diagnosis expansion so that they're adding the diagnosis of carpal tunnel to the sprain diagnosis. It's the same injury claim, just a new diagnosis added to it. The doctor's got to write a great narrative explaining in detail how that carpal tunnel was caused by the job. And then that goes in for approval. And if it's denied, they'll tell you why, and we can go again.
And Gilbert, we are working on coming to Puerto Rico.
Gilberto. On approved claim, does it have a time limit? That question, I can go in so many different ways.
Yeah, like what do you mean?
I mean, you have 3 years to file your claim. You have 12 months from every denial to do an appeal if you're using reconsideration. Depending on your craft, you can be out of work for 1 year or 2 years and still have your job saved for you. So I'm not really sure what your question on time limit is. Let's see. We got people talking to each other, which I think is awesome. And Gilberto, you are more than welcome.
What else do we got coming up?
That's about it.
That's about it for now. Yeah. So please get your calendar, union folks, and email me about this, because what happens is everybody waits last minute. They're like, oh, we got to get Chris and Gini. And then we're like double booked. And then we're flying in 3 states in 24 hours.
Tracy, just real quick, says, how often do we have to update our 17s and 20s for limited duty purposes? That's a little bit of a loaded question, because the answer is this. It's anytime the supervisor requests it, or a claims examiner, or a nurse case manager. It's anytime there is a change in your work status, your doctor should automatically fill one out. Or I recommend to our doctors they do an update at least every 30 days just to keep them current. And so that gives them an opportunity to reevaluate you and see what your current status is.
Yeah. And if you're looking for locations, just go to federalinjurycenters.com and click the giant red button tab that says locations.
And Cheryl asked, does OWCP say, okay, you should go back? Not really. They say if your doctor says you should go back, then go back. And it's based on the medical information your doctor puts on a CA-17.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, these were great questions. You were really interactive tonight. I appreciate that. Don't forget that I need your help. I want to get 5,000 claims approved this year. And look, you want me to get 5,000 claims approved this year as well. And you, if you need a claim approved, want to be one of the 5,000. But you all have a lot of friends that don't know we're doing this yet. So please do us a favor and share this video. Just put it into your newsfeed and Facebook. Send it, in a text to a friend who needs it. Take something and put it on a bulletin board. I said last week that if you like one of our brochures, our Wednesday Night Chats brochure, to send me an email with brochures in the subject line, and I'll send you a PDF of it that you can hang up in your break room. One person requested it, and that person got a brochure to hang in the break room. So if you'd like to do that, I'm more than happy to send a PDF of our brochure to your email. You can print it out and stick it on your break room bulletin board. It's important that you let people know that this is happening, because we are changing the way OWCP does things. I think we're breaking the system. I wrote a book called Breaking OWCP. I wrote 3 books called Breaking OWCP, and you can get those at breakingowcp.com, by the way. But the whole point is the system's breaking you, and we now have an opportunity to turn that around. And it takes information, education. That's what we're doing here. It takes doctors that care and are trained to do what you need. That's what I'm doing for you. We've got 50 plus doctors that are out there in like 25 plus states that want to help you. So check out the locations tab at Federal Injury Centers. Tell your friends. Anybody that tells you to avoid us, ignore them because that's crap. I promise you that will hurt you. We are here specifically to get your claims approved so that you don't lose everything after you have a work injury. And it's a thing that I say. It's the pain of the system should not be worse than the injury itself. And unfortunately, this system has been breaking too many people. And together with our network of people and people that have been through it, our union reps like Rich Ray, our doctors that are on here, us, we're able to really make a dent. Okay, so tell your friends, let your coworkers know that there's help, that they don't have to just be alone. They're not alone. They're not on an island by themselves. There's not something happening to them that's never happened to anyone else. Okay. Most of the things that you're dealing with are common, and I'm just trying to solve these common problems so they stop happening.
Yeah. Sonia, if you guys are looking to book us for April 17th, I think brunch is delicious. I love brunch. We'll definitely be there, but I need to make sure I get it in writing ASAP so we can put it down. Like I said, because March, April, and May, normally we know all of you start doing your conventions, your spring boosters and whatnot. So get it to me. I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt, but I just don't want it overlapping. And we want to make sure that we're there for all of you and be able to attend all your conventions.
Christine said that we're doing a wonderful thing for people. I really appreciate the nice feedback. This matters.
Okay? Love you, Chris.
This matters. All right. So all of you just know we're doing a thing that we know matters. It matters to you. So pass the word around. Don't let people stay in trouble. Don't let them be in trouble. We can help. Okay. There's almost nothing we can't help with an OWCP. So let people know.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the escalation button is. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to give my buddy Ron because he has an eComp account and I think we'll screen share. He said he's going to let me look around on what the portal looks like from the injured workers perspective. So I'll take a look at that. So Judy, I'll get back with you as soon as I get with Ron. Ron's my boy. He'll show me. And which reminds me, Ron's got a podcast coming out called Fed Up, FEDUP. Check it out. And I got a Fed Up coming up too. I got a podcast coming up too called Breaking OWCP. You'll have us both on there. We're going to have a good time with it. We're going to take some of these topics and break them down a little bit more. And whatever the topic of the day is, we're going to deal with that too. But what we're doing is saying, how much more can we do to get the word out that there's help?
Yeah.
And that's one more thing that we can do. So we're going to do it. A lot of people like to listen to podcasts while they're working, while they're driving. So that's what we plan to do.
Yeah, we listen to you. So we will be bringing it. And we're still trying to. No, I forgot what I was going to say. This is what happens when you have short-term memory loss.
Anyways, everything's going to be great. You keep telling your friends. We'll keep being here to tell you what you need to do. And all right.
Gilberto, I will go ahead and I will message you. If you could send me a private message.
Just go to Messenger on Facebook and send her a message, and she'll do that.
Now I remember. He's going to try hard to get the books on like Kindle and Amazon and all that, because a lot of you asked if he could do that with the books. We're trying. We have so much going on.
Yeah, so I haven't started trying yet, but when I start to try, it'll just be done. The first book I wrote in 3 days. Most people can't believe it, but I literally wrote it in 3 days. It took 28 hours over a 3-day period because I ate and slept a little bit. But I now have all the equipment. I'm looking at my studio equipment back here, so I've got everything I need to finally record the audio. And so I will definitely be prioritizing that. So everyone will have an audio version that you can listen to on your phone.
Yeah.
From the road.
I'm going to actually put a post up maybe today or tomorrow. I want you guys to tell us, what topics do you want us to do? I mean, we cover management every quarter. We cover, taking the management out to the woodshed every quarter. So that'll be coming up again soon. But whatever topics you guys want, when I post what I'm going to post, comment what you want and we'll go from there. And if there are any union representatives, presidents, and you guys want to come on and speak to the people about your craft and what's going on, we'd love to have you on here. So we're going to be doing some fun stuff throughout the year, change it up a little bit for you guys, because my views are getting very low.
Just real quick, Sonia, Sonia, if you want to change treating doctors, no matter what, you write a letter. It's called a change of treating doctor letter. You e-comp it to your claims examiner, and you say, I'm changing because my doctor retired, and here's the new doctor. It's very simple. What form DOL needs is no form. There's no form. Just write a letter saying I want to change. Royce, you got 2 of my books. They're ebooks. You actually prefer printed copies. No problem. Do me a favor just private message us, Royce, because I need to know your email address, and I'll take care of you.
We're gonna talk about schedule award. We're gonna have Eric Blowers on and have him go over all of that. I just have to get with him and
it'll be a little while.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Eric's got some transitioning going on, but don't worry about that right now. We'll get to him. Okay, well, listen, everyone. It's been an hour. We really appreciate you being here. We're going to give her eyes a break and turn these lights off. And we won't be with you next week.
Yeah.
But follow us for anything cool that we're going to put out there. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, right? Yeah. When we'll have Scott on.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to have Scott Sear live.
The last Wednesday of March.
2 Wednesdays from now, whenever that is.
Yeah.
We're going to have Scott on. So, Scott, be ready. Tammy, Dave, we're looking forward to having you over. We're going to have some dinner, and then we'll hop on and let Scott tell a story. It's a really great story. You got to be here. So look out for 2 weeks from now, and just keep coming back. Follow me on TikTok at Breaking OWCP. Please do that.
Please.
Please. She has like 1,500 followers. I have 250.
You guys have a great St. Patrick's Day. Stay drunk.
No.
And be green.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but drink some green beer and enjoy it.
You want Doll's Kitchen is always open.
Yeah, Doll's Kitchen is good. All right, folks. It's been great. Thank you. Welcome back, Gini. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Have a good night.